Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Life in Limbo. I really appreciate it. In the spirit of the new year, I've been trying to be not only comfortable, but always trying to get more stamina and working out. So that's why the comfy clothes of the workout outfit. Hope everyone's okay with that. This episode is going to be about a topic that I think everyone can relate to. And the subject line is, it's not your fault. So it's not your fault. And I think as actors and also as a person with a disability, I tend to think it's always my fault. And what I'm realizing as I get older, that there are lots of opportunities where it has absolutely nothing to do for me. But it's not your fault. Sometimes when the breakup happens, sometimes there's just not enough chemistry. No matter which way, no matter who you're attracted to or who your partner is, sometimes it just doesn't work out. It's just not your fault. The timing is off. They're with somebody else. It's bad chemistry. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's not your fault. And sometimes, like, you'll drive to the airport and you'll leave 4 hours ahead of time and you'll come close to missing the plane or miss the plane altogether because there's a car accident on the freeway and you're stuck. Now, to be clear, this is not about people that don't take responsibility for their lives and don't plan. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that circumstances beyond their control, whether you call it the divine, whether you call it the universe, whether you call it just a bad day. Sometimes it's just not your fault. Sometimes you go in for an audition and you hit all the right notes and you know all the lines and you do everything that your acting coaches tell you to do and you hit all the colors and all the vocabularies and all the levels that everyone has ever told you about. And you don't get the part or you don't get the call back and you wonder why, you wonder what happened, you wonder what you did, and then all of a sudden you find out later that you look like the producer's ex-wife. So it wouldn't matter if you even had the skills of Meryl Streep or Jessica Chastain, they were never going to hire you. Or if we get cut out of a television episodic, sometimes we think, they say they ran out of time, but we kind of question whether it was our performance or not. And the reality is sometimes the footage is damaged. Sometimes the footage gets lost. Sometimes it just didn't fit in with the episode because as a working actor, you're typically the smaller role. So if it doesn't move the story along, typically you get cut out. And it has nothing to do with how talented I am or how pretty I am or how I knew that character inside and out or how any other actor might have that experience. It has to do with the fact that it's not your fault. It's just the way it is. It is not my fault if the production company decides to hire an able-bodied actor to portray a person with a disability. Sometimes that's already in the cards and they've already had the person stunt casted, for lack of better words, and so they just audition performers with disabilities because they don't want to get in trouble with the contract. And that's happened many times in the past. I believe the energy is shifting. I believe that the climate is changing, but that has definitely happened to me in the past. And some of my auditions where I know that I made the casting directors and the producers laugh, and it was a comedy and it was appropriate for them to laugh, I realized afterwards that they had a celebrity name or a well-known actor already slated for that slot. And that's just part of the business. So sometimes, there again, no matter how much training I have, it's just not my fault. I know as a person with a disability, all the time, I'm always constantly getting letters from social disability agencies saying that this isn't done or that isn't done. And then I'll look back because I made copies of the information and I'll realize that everything was done correctly and somebody was just having a bad day. And they thought the form wasn't dated, but the form actually was dated. So it's not your fault. And sometimes it just won't be your fault. And, it's not your fault that an earthquake happened, and it's not your fault that it rains. We can be prepared as possible, but sometimes as human beings and as actors, and as I was saying before, I know some people find it hard to believe that actors truly are human beings, but sometimes things just happen. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this episode of Life in Limbo. As always, I'm so very, very grateful that you all tuned in. And if you would like to make a comment, please do. If you like this episode, please subscribe and please hit the thumbs up button. And thanks so much for your support today. I really appreciate it.